Father, sex changes are half off today. I was thinking maybe we could... Why am I so not surprised that your walls are white? Racist. You can close your mouth, Fem-son. It's your day off. What are you doing? What does it look like I'm doing? I'm playing Fortnite. Fortnite? More like Fort Alt-Right. What on earth is the problem with Fortnite? Well, you play as a privileged white man, running around building things, or as I like to call it, colonizing. And you run around shooting things, just giving in to the dominant male patriarchal fantasy. Okay, Fem-son, listen, I know you have fantasies about dominant males, but there's literally nothing wrong with this game, okay? It's completely harmless. Well, on top of all that, it also reinforces toxic masculinity, and it makes people aggressive. Yeah, anything can make people aggressive, Fem-son. I don't really think the game is responsible for that. Besides, science has shown that video games don't really cause violence to begin with. It makes people aggressive, you sexist, racist man-pig! Hey there everybody, how's it going? It's Hunter Avallone here, and before this video begins, let me just preface with this. I'm not really much of a gamer. I really don't play many video games. I really only play one video game right now. It's Fortnite. And no, this isn't because I'm gay, it's really because I'm an unoriginal person who lacks any form of authenticity and I prefer to follow the crowd like a sheep to the slaughter. That being said, with my small experience with video games, I found them to be a lot of fun and quite enjoyable. But of course, if something is fun, liberals will most likely hate it, and try to strip you of any joy you may have left in hopes of making you as miserable as they are. Anyway, welcome everybody to the fun and laid-back series, Liberals Ruin Everything. Today, it's video games. Tomorrow, it's their chance of ever holding political power again. Video games have been at the center of controversy pretty much since they were created. But lately, liberals have really been putting their own cringy twist into the mix. Now, this of course took me a little bit by surprise. Why exactly would liberals hate video games? I mean, they're practically already living in a simulation with their own virtual facts. Lack of diversity in games has same impact as racism on minority players, rando researcher says. Yeah, this sounds about right. Amos had a bad day because he was called the N-word. Bonquisha had a bad day because she had to play as a white character in a video game while sitting on her ass eating KFC. Racism. It's alive and well. To conduct his study, Passmore sent out a 92-question survey to nearly 300 Americans in an effort to see how this lack affects players. What they found was the lack of diversity in video game characters has different effects on players based on their own real-world experiences. The same long-term effects of depression, detachment, disengagement, low self-worth are present as outcomes as you would see in everyday, daily racism. Okay, well first of all, you conducted a study with nearly 300 people and expect your findings to be taken seriously. There are over 150 million video game players in the US, but you think just because a select 300 people are feeling a certain way, that video games suddenly have the same effects on people as racism? And I'm sorry, but if you experience depression, disengagement, and low self-worth simply from playing a video game that didn't have a black character in it, you might have other issues. The video game most likely isn't to blame. There it is. It's officially settled. The video game industry desperately needs more diversity. Now, I'm pretty sure what I just said is correct, but just to be safe, let me go ahead and put on my racism glasses and double check. Oh, wow. Whoa, okay. The video game industry definitely needs more diversity. But not too much diversity, or else that's cultural appropriation. Okay, well here's an idea that might help with this diversity issue. Maybe just give players the ability to create their own character. That way they can select their own skin color. Or if they have a character they really like, they can make that character be black or be white. Basically just let the player decide what color their character will be. Oh man! That's digital blackface! If there's a minority, they're often a stereotype. Or worse, when presented with a create a character option, people of color were often just palette swaps, creating what Passmore called the video game equivalent of blackface. In the early 1900s, people were doing blackface as a way to further demean and belittle people of color. In 2018, it seems these things are still happening. People are daring to go. Stop trying to belittle actual cruelty by claiming someone playing as a black video game character is comparable to blackface by any means. I mean, seriously, are we this privileged now? Is everything blackface? Be careful going to the beach, white people. You don't want to accidentally get tan and then do blackface. Remember, if you get too tan, you're part of the clan. But this article makes it clear that we need more diversity in the gaming industry. This is clearly something the left wants. So far, my ideas just haven't really worked, but what about the idea of just introducing a black female character? That should really make liberals happy, right? Wrong. Just like a fat girl claiming to be beautiful, there's a problem. What Nintendo gets wrong with Twintel, the new woman of color fighter from ARMS? So Nintendo released a new game last year that featured a woman of color fighter. Now you'd think liberals would be absolutely ecstatic. You'd think they'd be more excited than if they found out a new cemetery was coming in. But no, apparently this big leap towards diversity in the gaming industry is still just a little too problematic. When I first saw Twintel, I couldn't get excited like everyone else. All I could think about was her hair, specifically the fact she's a brown, female character with weaponized hair. Well, we're just getting into this article and it's already given me weaponized AIDS, so thanks for that. She then goes into why she finds this so problematic, claiming black hair has been weaponized in the past, directing us to past news articles that can all be explained without pulling the race card, including one about a woman who owned a black braiding salon, but then closed because she didn't have a necessary cosmetology license, and rather than just obtaining the license, she decided to sue. What's particularly strange here is how this specific fighting method is limited to the only brown character in the game. All the other fighters in ARMS have spring-loaded arms for weapons, including the other female fighters we've seen so far. So why does the brown girl have to use her hair as a weapon? Why can't our hair be depicted accurately in video games, or included in character customization options? Why do we get so few choices when it comes to being brown in games? And who at Nintendo thought this was actually okay? Yeah, most likely someone who didn't bother to go through your gauntlet of political gymnastics thought it was okay. And seriously, you don't want your hair to be weaponized because it's somehow racist. But if you ask me, that shit's already weaponized. I mean, you need a license just to braid it. Things you need a license for: braiding black women's hair and selling firearms. Hell, I think you need a permit just to carry that black female hair. I mean, seriously, who knows what you're hiding up there? A stolen bottle of conditioner? This isn't the first time I've had to consider the issue of hair and people of color characters in games, either because of limited choices for natural hair or a lack of options altogether. But with Twintel, Nintendo Gaming demonstrated that the industry still doesn't get it, forcing me to confront this problem yet again. How you know you're privileged in life? Video game characters' hair is a pressing issue to you, and you claim this is a problem, yet not everyone will see this as a problem. There's plenty of people that probably think this is awesome. Here's a black female fighter who uses her cool hair to take out enemies. Not everybody looks at things with your negative perception. Not everything is racist. But hey guys, what the hell do I know? Maybe the issue isn't racism. Maybe, to help with this diversity issue that the left apparently cares so much about, we should introduce everyone's favorite, women. Seriously, that should really help out with the whole diversity issue, right? Wrong. Just like you after your parents attempted an abortion, the problem persisted. Just how sexist is the gaming world? Yes, let me put on my thinking cap. It's not sexist at all. How many of you in this world are gamers? I bet more than a few would identify as such. 52% of gamers are women, not men. It appears as if the gaming industry is still ignoring this fact. Have you gone into your local game store and looked at the offerings? How many are visibly targeted for women? How many are designed for men? If you answer that an overwhelming number are targeted at men, you are correct. Okay, first of all, Becky, let me just stop you right there. 52% of gamers are not women. I really have no idea where you snuffed this stat from. 48% of women in the US report having played a video game, whereas only 6% actually identify as gamers, compared to 15% of men who identify as gamers. Once they hit 18 to 29, aka old enough to have jobs, have money, and buy stuff for themselves, 9% of women call themselves gamers compared to the 33% of men who identify as gamers. So yeah, good observation. Video games might be marketed more towards men. This is not sexism, this is tactful marketing. Products will always be directed at the largest consumer. That's capitalism. But hey, if you don't like that, you can go off and make your own video game. That's capitalism also. We deserve a good story, fantastic character arcs, and the ability to be a smart, intelligent woman that also happens to be a badass at some things. If we are more than half of your gaming population, stop ignoring us. Start listening to what we want. We are not going away, and chances are we are raising a whole new generation of girl gamers that wish for games that can be targeted for both male and females. Why do you force us into your male-dominated games just so that we can enjoy something? Could someone maybe just design a game to help this woman stop being such an entitled, insipid brat? Again, why does everything have to be about race and gender with these people? Can't you just, I don't know, just play a video game and enjoy it? Oh, and by the way, games can actually be played by both men and women. It's actually a thing! Like I already explained, however, the targeting difference is just based solely on consumers. I mean, let's be real, you'd scoff at a man for not wanting to play as a female in a video game, but then you act like not wanting to play as a man in a video game is some sort of empowered and noble cause. And lastly, I'm sure there's some games that exist for women. Video games for the women. I also think it's just hilarious how inconsistent the left's agenda is when it comes to video games. But this right here, this, my friends, is why I'm not a liberal. To be a liberal is to be a loser. I mean, imagine being so caught up with race, gender, representation, that you can't even enjoy a freaking video game. You can't even enjoy a simulation of something unrealistic because your babbling, dribbling agenda is all you can think about. I mean, seriously, this shit's gotta end. I pity the gamers in the next few years. Hold on. You mean I can't play as a gender non-conforming, non-binary, toucan sexual, transgender dragon queen who identifies as a piece of pita bread on Tuesdays and Thursdays? Where's the f***ing equality? I mean, maybe this is just a problem that can't be fixed. I mean, according to the left, we so badly need diversity in games. If only more games would just introduce it. Up. That's only marketing. And all the diverse characters are just tokens. Call of Duty introduced more diverse characters last year, but here's what the abyss of leftist video game dribble Polygon had to say. It reads like a marketer's checklist for suitable diversity, a roster of token characters that doesn't acknowledge their experiences more than it pats the publisher on the back. Sledgehammer staffers' repeated references to brotherhood also speak clearly to the fact this game will be told from a very traditional perspective. We want diversity! You're just using diversity for marketing! Racist! I guess every person the left considers an oppressed group in America must be fully represented in video games and have a full-length backstory explaining how they got out of the hood and made it to World War II. People aren't gonna like this, but the truth is, it's getting harder and harder to represent everyone accurately. People are getting more and more weird. If you choose to identify as a toucan like me, it's gonna be harder to find representation in media. That's just the trade-off. Deal with it. So in summary, you just can't win with the left. This entire video game debacle reminds me a lot of trying to feed a starving African kid with 3 tapeworms. No matter how much you give him, it's just never enough. No matter how many times you introduce change to video games, it's never enough for the left. I mean, it's only a matter of time before video games are fully demonized by the left, or we start seeing a lot more ads like this. Greetings, everyone. My name is Tim Tom. I used to work with Epic Games, but to be more inclusive, we decided to change our name to Black Gamer Lives Matter. Today I have some very exciting news. I'm here to introduce a brand new game titled Transgender Fun Run. You play as a black transgender prostitute. Learn the everyday transphobia and racism you experience while walking through our state-of-the-art 3D virtual city. You can also check out our other feminist favorites, Tampon Toss. You play as a strong, empowered, black, queer woman who's on her period. What's the challenge, you might ask? Well, just existing is a challenge enough when you're that oppressed. The left can't win elections, and the left can't win video games. Please give this video a like, comment below, and subscribe to my channel. Thank you everyone for watching. Peace.